Have you noticed you're getting up from your chair a little slower than you used to? Maybe the grocery bags feel heavier this year than last year. Maybe your balance isn't quite what it was, even though you're eating well, taking your supplements, and trying to stay active. You're not imagining it, and you're not alone. What you might be experiencing has a name: sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that comes with age. It's incredibly common. Research shows that after age 30, most people lose roughly 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade, and that rate speeds up significantly after 60. By 80, some people have lost close to a third of the muscle mass they had in their 40s. That's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to pay attention, because sarcopenia is one of the few age-related changes we actually have real power to slow down, and in many cases, partially reverse. And it starts with something as simple as what's on your plate in the morning. I'm Dr. James Revealio, and on this channel, we look at what real research says about staying strong, mobile, and independent as we age, without the fads, the fear-mongering, or the miracle cures. Today, I want to walk you through 5 breakfast habits that quietly work against your muscles, and 5 that genuinely support them. Stick with me, because a few of these might surprise you. Before we get started, let me know in the comments, what's your usual breakfast? I read every comment, and I'd love to know where you're starting from. Why breakfast actually matters for your muscles. Here's the part most people never get explained to them clearly. Your muscles aren't static. Every day, your body is breaking down old muscle protein and building new protein to replace it. A constant cycle of repair. When you're younger, this cycle is efficient and your body responds quickly to the protein you eat. As you age, something called anabolic resistance sets in. Your muscles become less responsive to the same amount of protein, so you actually need more of it, spread more evenly across the day to get the same muscle building effect you used to get automatically. Overnight, while you sleep, you go many hours without eating. Your body has been drawing on protein stores all night. That means the first meal of the day is a critical window. Not because of some extreme metabolic switch, but simply because it's often the longest stretch of protein deprivation in your whole day. If breakfast is mostly sugar and refined carbohydrate with little protein, you're missing an important opportunity. And doing that consistently, day after day, adds up over months and years. That's really the core idea. Nothing here is about one bad breakfast ruining your muscles. It's about patterns that repeat for years, quietly working against you, or quietly working for you. 5 breakfast habits worth rethinking. 1. Relying on refined carbohydrates alone. White bread, plain toast, sugary cereal. There's nothing evil about carbohydrates, and you don't need to fear them. The issue is a breakfast that's almost entirely refined carbs with little to no protein. White bread and most sugary cereals digest quickly, spike blood sugar, and provide very little of the essential amino acids, especially leucine, that trigger muscle protein synthesis. If this is the bulk of your breakfast, most mornings, your muscles are essentially waiting for a repair signal that never arrives. 2. Coffee as a standalone breakfast. I understand the appeal. Many of us grew up with coffee and a cigarette, or coffee and nothing as a normal start to the day. Coffee itself isn't the enemy. Moderate caffeine intake has actually been linked to several health benefits. But when coffee replaces breakfast entirely, day after day, you're missing your protein window and running on empty for hours. The problem isn't the coffee, it's the absence of anything alongside it. 3. Leaning on processed meats as your main protein source. Bacon, sausage, and deli meats do contain protein, but they're also high in sodium and saturated fat. And processed meats have been consistently linked in large population studies to higher rates of inflammation and chronic disease risk. If this is your everyday protein source rather than an occasional one, it's worth swapping in leaner, less processed options most mornings. 4. Choosing very low-fat dairy without a fat source alongside it. Skim milk isn't harmful, and if you enjoy it, there's no need to give it up. But some important vitamins your muscles rely on, A, D, E, and K, are fat-soluble, meaning your body absorbs them better when eaten with some dietary fat. If your entire breakfast is fat-free, you may be getting less benefit from those nutrients than you think. The fix isn't complicated. Just include a source of healthy fat somewhere in the meal. 5. Skipping breakfast altogether, or treating it as an afterthought. This might be the most common pattern of all, especially for people who were told for years that skipping breakfast is a good way to manage weight. For older adults working to preserve muscle, an inconsistent or protein-light breakfast repeated for years, is one of the more overlooked contributors to gradual strength loss. None of these 5 habits are catastrophic on their own, and I don't want you leaving this video afraid of coffee or oatmeal. What matters is the overall pattern of your mornings, repeated over months and years, and thankfully, that pattern is very much within your control. If any of this is resonating with you, go ahead and hit subscribe. I put a lot of research into these videos so you get accurate information instead of scare tactics, and it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need it. 5 breakfast foods that genuinely support muscle health. Now let's talk about what the research actually supports. These aren't miracle foods, and no single ingredient reverses sarcopenia by itself. But consistently including these in your mornings gives your muscles what they actually need to repair and maintain themselves. 1. Greek yogurt. Plain Greek yogurt is one of the most efficient breakfast proteins available, delivering around 15 to 20 grams of protein per cup, including a good dose of leucine, the amino acid most directly tied to triggering muscle protein synthesis. Choose plain, unsweetened varieties to avoid added sugar, and add your own fruit or a small amount of honey if you want sweetness. Full fat or 2% versions also help with absorption of fat-soluble nutrients, though non-fat is fine if that's your preference. To get the most out of it, try this simple bowl: a cup of plain Greek yogurt, a handful of berries, a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, and a drizzle of honey if you like a little sweetness. It takes under 2 minutes to put together and gives you a genuinely well-rounded start to the day. If you find plain yogurt too tart, mixing in a small amount of vanilla extract works better than reaching for the sweetened, sugar-heavy varieties on the shelf. 2. Eggs. Eggs remain one of the most complete protein sources in the average kitchen. They contain all 9 essential amino acids in proportions your body uses efficiently, and the yolk provides vitamin D and choline that the whites alone don't. 2 eggs provide roughly 12 to 14 grams of high-quality protein. Scrambled, boiled, or poached are all fine. How you cook them matters far less than making them a regular part of your morning. A practical tip: hard boil a batch of 6 eggs at the start of the week and keep them in the refrigerator. That way, even on a rushed morning, protein is already prepared and grab and go. If cholesterol is a concern for you, know that current research has largely walked back the old blanket warnings about dietary cholesterol from eggs for most people. But if your doctor has given you specific guidance on this, that guidance should take priority over anything general I say here. 3. Avocado. Avocado won't build muscle on its own, but it plays a genuinely useful supporting role. It's rich in monounsaturated fat, which helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins from the rest of your meal, and it's one of the better food sources of potassium, which supports normal muscle function and helps prevent cramping. Adding a few slices to eggs or yogurt is an easy way to round out breakfast. If you're watching your budget, a whole avocado doesn't need to be used all at once. Half on Monday, half on Tuesday, with the pit left in the unused half and a squeeze of lemon juice to slow browning. Mashed on a slice of whole grain toast with a boiled egg on top is a simple, satisfying combination that covers protein, fiber, and healthy fat in one plate. 4. Lean poultry or fish. If you enjoy a more savory breakfast, a small serving of leftover chicken, turkey, or even canned salmon is an excellent protein source, often more concentrated than eggs or yogurt, with 25 to 35 grams of protein in a 4-ounce serving. This isn't necessary every day, but it's a great option a few mornings a week, especially paired with vegetables. An easy way to make this sustainable is to cook a bit extra when you're preparing dinner, a few ounces of grilled chicken or baked salmon, specifically so you have it on hand the next morning. Canned salmon or tuna packed in water is a shelf-stable option worth keeping in the pantry for mornings when nothing is left over. 5. Nuts and seeds. A small handful of walnuts, almonds, or a tablespoon of chia or ground flaxseed adds plant protein, healthy fats, magnesium, and zinc, all of which play supporting roles in muscle metabolism and recovery. Keep portions modest, since nuts are calorie-dense, but they're a simple, low-effort addition sprinkled onto yogurt or oatmeal. A good habit is portioning nuts into small containers or bags ahead of time, about an ounce, roughly a small handful, so you're not tempted to eat straight from a large bag, which makes it easy to overdo the calories without noticing, clearing up a few common myths. Before we move on, I want to address a few things I hear constantly from people your age, because misinformation on this topic is everywhere online. I'm too old for my muscles to grow back. This simply isn't supported by the research. Studies on resistance training in adults well into their 80s and 90s consistently show meaningful gains in strength and muscle size. Age slows the process down. It doesn't stop it. I need a protein shake or supplement to fix this. For most people eating a varied diet, whole foods can meet protein needs without any powders or supplements. They're not harmful if you enjoy them or if eating enough whole food protein is genuinely difficult for you, but they're a convenience, not a requirement. If I'm not sore, the workout didn't count. Soreness is not a reliable measure of an effective workout, especially for older adults. Consistency and gradual progress matter far more than pushing to the point of pain. Walking is enough exercise to prevent muscle loss. Walking is excellent for cardiovascular health and should absolutely be part of your routine, but it does very little to build or preserve muscle strength on its own. Muscles need resistance, some form of pushing, pulling, or lifting against weight, to be prompted to adapt. The piece most videos leave out: I'd be doing you a disservice if I let you believe breakfast alone reverses sarcopenia. It doesn't. The research is very consistent on this point. The single most effective intervention for age-related muscle loss is resistance exercise. Even modest amounts, 2 to 3 times a week, using light weights, resistance bands, or body weight movements. You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment to start. A few examples that are safe for most people to begin with, ideally after checking with your doctor if you have any existing health conditions. Sit to stands, rising from a chair without using your hands, repeated 8 to 10 times, directly strengthens the leg muscles most responsible for preventing falls. Wall push-ups. Standing an arm's length from a wall and pushing your body toward and away from it builds upper body strength with minimal joint stress. Resistance band rows. Looping a light resistance band around a doorknob and pulling toward your body strengthens the back and shoulder muscles that support posture. Heel raises. Holding onto a counter and rising onto your toes strengthens the calves and improves balance, both of which reduce fall risk. 2 to 3 short sessions a week, even just 15 to 20 minutes, produce real, measurable results over a few months. Adequate protein gives your muscles the raw materials. Resistance training is what tells your body to actually use them. The two work together. Diet without activity or activity without adequate protein both fall short of what you're capable of. If you're dealing with falls, significant weakness, or a rapid change in your strength, please talk to your doctor. Sarcopenia can sometimes overlap with other conditions that deserve a proper medical evaluation, and nothing in this video is a substitute for that. Putting it together. You don't need to overhaul your entire kitchen tomorrow morning. Start with one change. Add a serving of Greek yogurt, eggs, or a lean protein to whatever you're already eating for breakfast. Do that consistently for a few months, pair it with some regular movement, and give your body the time it actually needs to respond. Muscle adaptation is a slow, steady process, not an overnight transformation. I'd genuinely like to know what you're starting with. Drop a comment below and tell me your current breakfast, and I'll do my best to reply with a suggestion. If this video gave you something useful, consider subscribing. It helps this channel keep making evidence-based content instead of the fear-based videos that are unfortunately common on this topic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.